Hello, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor, CropLife and CropLife Iron, here again with Lara Sowinski. Laura, how are we today?
We are fine. All of us.
All of us? Okay, yes. I was going to say, I know. This is, of course, spring when, as we are recording this, with the calendar has just moved into the month of May. So, April showers, May flowers. I know there's plenty of flowers going on in our neck of the woods. Not sure what flowers in El Paso. Are the cactus in bloom or what?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually scattered some wildflower seeds, and then I also put some sunflower seeds in the ground a couple 3 weeks ago, and I have something happening back there.
Something happening.
We'll see. I don't know.
That's scary enough that you'll need to set
Not
up
the
your
windstorm.
you got to set up your phone on a little time lapse, like watching. I know somebody has a camera where you can watch the corn grow in I think Iowa or Indiana, I forget which state, but you'll have to set up your camera and then you can watch the wildflowers come up and you can watch the little armadillo come over and dig it up or whatever. So
And eat it. Yeah.
yeah. Always fun. Yeah, it's always fun this time of year. It's never boring, that's for sure. I know my dog, Lucky, it's like this is that time of year when opening up the house and it was like, the squirrels and the robins are real active and she just wants to go out and chase them. So it
Yeah.
is a constant bark, 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 door open, door coming back, her coming back in all dirty and like, oh man. So anyhow.
Oh, it's good to be a dog.
I'll, I'll remember you said that. So, hey, getting on to some of the news of the week relating to agriculture, of course, our favorite topic. I ran across an item that I know you're always big on what's going on in transportation and logistics when it comes to moving products around the country and the globe. And this was an item I ran across that was talking about a notice from the Office of U.S. Trade Representative that was talking about the fact that they have something called Section 301,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
apparently will be going into effect on October 14th of this year. And that's going to impose a $50 per net ton fee on Chinese vessel operators and Chinese vessel owners. And that's going to cover most vessels that carry U.S. agricultural exports. This fee is going to be raised to $140 per net ton by 2028. And the reason our friends in agriculture are a little concerned about this is, as they point out in this article, last year the U.S. exported $191 billion worth of agricultural goods and related products, and
Hmm.
70% of that amount was shipped by an ocean-going vessel.
Hmm.
So that could be potentially really bad news for our friends who rely on vessels to be moving their exports across the world. So
Yeah, I think this is kind of part of this larger, what we call non-tariff barriers. When we're looking at international trade, um, tariffs are one way to, impose tariffs, duties on goods. Um, Things like quotas or anti-dumping, countervailing duties, things like that, that are non-tariff but are still barriers to trade, if you will.
hmm
I think these kind of just I'd have to look into the story a little bit more, but I just think this contention, particularly right now with China, I hope at the very least for the ag retail, or excuse me, the ag exports, um, some of that gets resolved. I mean, I just, no matter what the story is, I always feel like the farmers ultimately are the end of the line getting the short stick. And I think this is another example. So yeah, good news item that may not rise to the top, say in a day-to-day thing, but it's very impactful.
right. And again, I know that part of the reason I ran across this item, I guess we're now in the comment period.
Mm-hmm.
of this
Mm-hmm.
item between now and have been supposed to go into effect later this year in October. So one would hope the comments will be strongly worded enough that maybe there'll be some reconsideration or maybe delays on some of these proposed fees. But again, as
Mm-hmm.
always, we
Mm-hmm.
will have to see as we go forward through the summertime. So
Yeah, yeah. Now that's a good news item, and I another opportunity, if you don't mind. You know how I just see it more and more. You know, when we're active in our industry associations, our trade associations that advocate on our behalf. These are the types of things. You know, they're always monitoring what's coming up in terms of proposed rulemaking, etc. And those comments absolutely do influence the outcome of final rules. So yeah, another reason why, you know, become active at the local level, your state level, federal, you know, the folks for us that are on the hill,
yeah,
CPDA, ARA,
amen.
CropLife America, others.
Yep,
Yeah.
amen. I couldn't agree more. So. Well, hey, on let's continue the good news then. In in that
Hmm.
vein, did run across an item in this regards. Of course, we've talked for many years on the videos here about what's been going on with glyphosate and how it's been subject to several, read thousands lawsuits regarding damage awards against it or claims of causing illness because of people using it. But we found out on April 24th, I guess Governor Kelly Armstrong of North Dakota and the North Dakota Legislative Assembly actually enacted a bill called HB 1318. And they're the first state to do this, that basically says that the U.S. EPA warning label or safety label on a crop protection product like glyphosate is good enough warning, and that state and local warning requirements would no longer be necessary in this instance. So this was very good news, according to the press release we got from those folks. Brian
Yeah.
Neighbor, the president of the Crop Science North American and Australia/New Zealand region, said that by signing HB 1318, Governor Armstrong is supporting North Dakota's farmers, Americans' consumers, and the decades of innovation that underpin the state's proud agricultural history and vibrant economy. So again, this is very good news, and I know other states. I know
Mhm.
Missouri is looking at a similar
Georgia.
bill. I think Iowa
Yeah.
is as well. So again,
Yeah.
there is definitely there's a move underway for the state legislatures to basically say, hey, look, products, if you're following the federal registration, the FIFRA regulations on your labels,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
good enough, and that these lawsuits that are citing state or local regs don't that argument would no longer apply. So that would be good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a really big news item, to say the least. And certainly caught my eye. I think I expect that there will be other states that will follow suit, and that could, you know, that would be a groundswell of, you know, kind of support for what. Yeah, let's follow it. It's already, you know, come down from the top, if you will, and the label is the law, as I've heard.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I have talked to some of the state representatives in our industry, and they said that, you know, I guess not surprisingly, the groups that have lobbied against this type of legislation being passed, of course, are the law firms that are actually standing to
Hmm.
benefit from
Yeah.
filing all these
Yeah. That's
lawsuits.
right.
So I guess they're lobbying very hard against these type of legislations being enacted. So
Yeah.
again, support your associations, state associations. Those
Mhm.
folks can
Mhm.
definitely help get our industry's good news out there and fight on our behalf to try to keep these, to try to push through the legislation that will help our industry.
Yeah, I noticed in the press release that you're referring to, that Modern Ag Alliance was also quoted as well, and it was good to see them and is there as well. And again, another group to
Get in.
consider if you're on that side of the business.
Absolutely. So, hey, Laura and I've been talking, so I will kick this off to you because I know you've got a couple of things to share, including a trip coming up here in the next week or so.
For sure, yeah. Actually, lots of news this past week. I'll stay in North Dakota with you,
It's a
and
beautiful state.
yeah. So Bushel, based in Fargo, um, mentioned this last week that they are now uh, working with the ARA, Agricultural Retailers Association. The ARA is now accepting payments through Bushel for its membership dues, so gives ag retailers a secure, convenient way to manage these types of payments, which is great. Um, and before we left for commodity, I don't know if you saw it. I actually stopped in at the Bushel booth when we were there in Denver, but on February 27th, Bushel released an announcement that it was expanding its platform with enhanced financial tools for farmers and agribusinesses. Specifically, starting this spring, Bushel Farm will include a digital wallet, providing an all-in-one platform to manage farm operations and finances. This integration simplifies both financial and operational management for farmers. Key features of Bushel Farm, including field level rainfall data, activity tracking, profit and loss reporting, and more, will continue to be available. So these updates to Bushel's payments management solutions present a strategic opportunity for agribusinesses, including grain elevators and ag retailers, to generate returns on operational float. So, when I discovered and learned about Bushel a couple, 3 years ago, for me, it was like, wow, this is great. Somebody in the fintech space that is making some nice inroads into the ag, sector and providing some solutions that could safely and securely replace, paper checks, cash, all that stuff. So they've really been doing a lot. And in fact, Bushel was recently awarded the AgTech Finance Platform of the Year in the fifth annual AgTech Breakthrough Awards. So really, hats off to Bushel. They're making a lot of progress, like the partnership there with ARA. And then this week as well, again under the FinTech News heading, Growers Edge announced that a first close of a new financing round, a 25 million financing round to build the first full service fintech platform for agriculture. According to the press release, the new funding will enable Growers Edge to scale its financial solutions and expand its reach with more ag retailers and lenders while driving greater adoption of climate smart ag products and practices across the U.S. One of the companies, Value Act Capital, which was part of this funding round, Jeff Ubben, founder of Value Act Capital, said Growers Edge is tackling one of the most critical barriers to agricultural innovation, financial risk. So yeah, lots of activity in fintech right now, which is a wonderful segue. As we mentioned last week in July, we are launching a very important content. Um, Not that we haven't included plenty of ag tech coverage as the course of our regular CropLife articles and coverage, but we are hyper focusing on smart tech, and that's the name of our new content initiative, which will formally launch in July. And the way we're looking at this, our take on it is, first of all, being very candid about kind of what's working and what's not, but most importantly, on the what's working front, really these technologies that are out there now that are really showing promise, that have kind of passed that proof of concept stage. What is honestly going to make sense? I mean, we can't say it enough. I mean, there is no way that any farmer or retailer can afford to spend on anything that's not going to absolutely perform and perform fast, for that matter. So we're really going to focus in on those things and devote a lot of coverage, not only in CropLife and CropLife Iron print magazines, but certainly on all of our digital platforms as well. And fintech is one of those sectors that we'll be focusing a lot of good coverage on. We have a contributing editor. I'll wait to announce that person's name. But we have lots of good things that are happening under the smart tech umbrella. Again, a content initiative that we're going all in on that will come out in July. So keep your eyes on that. And yes, I am pulling out that suitcase again, dusting it off. I am traveling to Florida for CPDA's Adjuvants and Innards Conference, May 5th through the 7th. And we have an ESA panel, an all-star panel. I have Leah Doozy from Compliance Services International, Dr. Stanley Culpepper, University of Georgia, and Bill Chisholm, retired EPA and chair over at the Weed Society. And we're going to talk about ESA, kind of where we're at now. And as we all know, just this past week, the final insect strategy was released. So now EPA has released the herbicide strategy, came out August 2024. Rodenticide came out in November 2024. Final insect strategy is out. And 2026, we'll see the last of those four pillars, which will be the fungicide. The final fungicide strategy will be out in 26. So plenty to talk about, including how drift reduction adjuvants are kind of playing a starring role here in terms of an approved mitigation tool for spray drift. So yeah, pretty exciting times. Lots going on.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully, I know you're hosting or moderating a panel while you're going to be at the CPDA meeting, but hopefully you'll be able to get some video of some folks, maybe a little video snippet here or there. I know Stanley Culpepper is a great speaker. I've heard him talk before. So if you got a 1-minute soundbite from him, that would be fantastic. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that.
Yep. All set to go. Have my little tripod ready, and
Sounds good.
We'll see what I can do.
Sounds good. All right. Well, hey, Miss Laura, then we will wait to hear on that. But in the meantime, let's end this program as we always do with your favorite segment. Time for Fun with Numbers.
Yay. All right.
So
I'm ready.
Your number this week is a percentage, 55%. 55%. Okay, so is 55%, Laura, is that A, the increase in farm bankruptcies in 2024? Is it B, the increase in diesel costs in 2024? Is it C, the decrease in soybean exports in 2024? Or is it D, the decrease in Lara Sowinski wearing hats on CropLife Retail Week videos? And I was so glad you didn't wear a hat today, because then that joke is so much funnier.
Well, in that case, that needs to be fixed. I will reach into my hat closet and see what we can do. Wow. Whew. I'm going to go with C.
No, I'm sorry. The correct answer is A. Increase in farm bankruptcies during 2024. Yeah, this came from a report at Bloomberg Law. A couple of their experts were looking at farm bankruptcies during 2024 and found that it had increased by 55% versus 2023, and it was trending even higher for 2025, unfortunately. And the direct quote they had in their report that said that this was being spurred by, quote unquote, unpredictable tariffs, immigration overhauls, federal program cuts, and frozen agricultural department funding. So again, all those factors we've been talking about, all these things that have been coming out of Washington, D.C., and fortunately leading to a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace, is leading to a lot of farmers apparently declaring bankruptcy, deciding that they can no longer make a go of it, which is unfortunate.
Wow. I think maybe I didn't want to choose A because I didn't even want to know that that was true. That is just a shockingly high number.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's bad, but man,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
ugh.
and again, as you said earlier in the video, farmers, unfortunately, they kind of are at the forefront of how a lot of these things that go on in the global marketplace regarding, tit for tat and
Mhm,
like you
mhm.
say, tariffs, non-tariffs, barriers, trade barriers, et cetera, and so on. That unfortunately
Yeah, yeah,
they're caught, and that is indeed what the statistics are showing. So.
yeah. Wow. Oh man. Hoping things get better. I really do.
Yes, fingers
Really, really do.
fingers crossed. Again, I know it's
Yeah.
early spring. I mean, I know myself. I've seen this for the last 25 years. I've covered the market. Spring is because there's just so much uncertainty. Everybody's a little more cautious, apprehensive, and then if things pan out, usually by the fall, everybody is celebrating and happy. So,
Yeah.
fingers crossed, we'll
Mhm.
see that again. So.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. Well,
Yeah.
Laura, have a safe trip. On behalf of myself and everyone here at CropLife Retail Week, thanks for joining us, folks, and we will see you again soon. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comments section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.